house. Putaria, that is out in the night. Paying it for it and it don't matter the price. Boom, boom, more than out here moving so right. Get it shaking tonight, dama todo rulay. If you know me, then you know that I would never deny. Tengo mi terio and I will show you tonight. So the putaria has my future so bright. Bringing it to the light, un foqueo rulay. I said this tape is not for ignorant babosos. Steady rep that 718. Melting pot that done made me famoso. That's from New York City, el verdadero sancocho. Invoco al un vale yo. Me monto y me da la hinchazón. Spitting out, keeping.
What it do, Knicks Nation. We are back with another episode of the KnicksEnFuego show. I'm your guy Hector, joined by my compañera tonight. I got the lovely Nikki Karla hanging out with the Met fans, so she out there doing her thing. Shout out to the Mets and opening season. But we are back, Knick fans. Nikki, how are you feeling?
Good, feeling good. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. The playoffs are right around the corner, and that'll be our busy season.
Yeah. What most Knicks fans have been waiting for, the playoffs, and it seems like this season has gone by so fast, right? I know we've been busy here over here at Uptown Sports TV, but I want to take a second and shout out Nikki and Karla, who was on with our good friend Dexter Henry. I'm going to throw it over to you. You guys were on with the rundown with Dexter. Amazing show. You guys were awesome. So I want to get your thoughts and how you feel from that conversation with you and Dex.
It was a good conversation. I appreciate the opportunity to be up there with Karla. It was awesome. I know that for the month of March, she was doing nothing but ladies for Women's History Month. So that was really cool to be one of the ladies chosen. But no, the questions were good. It was a good experience just to get under our belt so we can get more comfortable and more professional with bringing you this show that we're doing on a regular basis.
Listen, you guys were fantastic. Like I told you in text messages and like I told you backstage, Nikki, you guys are natural. I am blessed and privileged to be working and doing a Knicks show with you ladies. You guys are amazing when it comes to your take and when it comes to your knowledge on basketball. But I want to bring something up that popped up outside of like the Knicks games and stuff, but Carmelo Anthony was nominated to the NBA Hall of Fame, right? And I have a conversation right here. Theo Pinson and Raymond Felton was talking about Carmelo Anthony and how the Knicks version of Melo was the best version of Melo. So I'm gonna just play this. It's about 1 minute, and then Nikki, I'll throw it over to you to break it down and give us your take.
So we have a good question. Which was the best Melo? Like the best version? You got Nuggets. You might be a little biased. You got Nuggets, Knicks Melo, Team USA Melo. Which one are you thinking?
I got Knicks. I'm gonna say Knicks. They had that boy. First of all, they had a squad, and y'all can say it's biased, but if you go back, everybody used to play with the Knicks on 2K.
Facts.
Everybody Knicks on 2K. I mean, they had a team, and he was playing really good basketball. You know, just Brown in Miami. That's all it is, bro. Like at the end of the day, greatness. But I think Melo played his best basketball in
New York.
In New York.
Yeah,
that was home.
Yeah, he came to New York.
I gotta agree with that take. Nikki, I'll throw it over to you to get your take. Let's get your take when it comes to that.
To me, it is the New York Melo that should be the best. That was my question. Being in Springfield with the Hall of Fame, which Melo would they put in the Hall? Because there's really not a lot of orange and blue in the Hall. You got Walt, you got Bernard, you got Ewing, but there's really not a lot. And I just want to see, because again, this is Massachusetts. Are they just going to be haters and go along with the Denver Melo? Or since that was the longer version? Or are they really going to put them in the orange and blue? So that's what I'm looking to see what happens.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see, and I never thought about that until you just brought it up. Shout out to Jacob Petruzzi. Nostalgic Nick is in the building. Our guy, Just Nicks. How you doing, folks? Smack that like button. Hit that subscribe button. When it comes to subscribers over here at Uptown Sports TV, we are sitting at 4,935 subscribers. We are right there at 5K, so help us out. Hit that subscribe button. And to your point, Nikki, if obviously biased Knicks fans, we want to see him in the
Mhm.
orange and blue. We want to
Yes.
see him in that Knicks jersey being inducted into the Hall of Fame over there in Springfield, Massachusetts. But when you look at his numbers, he had great years with the Denver
Mhm.
Nuggets. But I feel just like you said, the next year, one, because I'm a Knicks fan, but two, the pressure of coming to New York, the pressure of coming to the Knicks when nobody wanted to come to the Knicks, when both LeBron James and D Wade turned down the Knicks. Carmelo Anthony was the sole superstar, outside of Amari Stoudemire at that
Mhm.
time, that wanted to come and play for the New York Knicks. Amari came because the Knicks were the only team that offered him that massive contract. Let's not be stupid, Knicks fans.
Right.
When it comes to Melo, he was a top player in the league, top 3, top 5 player, and he chose to come to the Knicks. So I think Melo deserves more flowers than what he gets. I think some Knicks fans, they just throw him under the bus. That's just me personally.
It's true, but not only that, you also have to take in consideration, and I'm hoping the Hall does,
Mm-hmm.
the way that a lot of Nick fans nowadays got into their fandom. A lot of the
Yes.
fans in their 20s or even early 30s, they got their fandom through Mello. I know me, I was a 90s baby, so Hewing and everybody else. So you
Mm-hmm.
go from Hewing, then there's that gap,
Yeah.
and it goes to Mello.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, if that's who you associate the team with, you gotta do orange and blue. I don't
Yeah.
even think Denver's really an option.
Mm-hmm. Even to the people that are like 20 years old right now, and that's a great point. Also, their introduction to the Knicks was the Carmelo Anthony, the
Exactly.
Tyson and Chandler Knicks. Right, growing up, when I was watching them, when I was in high school, I had the Stephon Marbury, the Jamal
Hmm.
Crawford, the David Lee, Channing Frye, Nate Robinson. Those were the Knicks that I grew up watching. Carmelo
Right.
Anthony came when I just hit 20 years old. So that's a great point. Young Knicks fans that are in their 20s, that are 10 years younger than me, 15 years younger than me, they grew up with the Carmelo Anthony version of the Knicks. They grew up with Melo being there, and the real Melo being their
Right.
introduction to Knicks basketball. So that's a great point that you make, Nikki.
Yeah, definitely. And you got to put him too, because playing with him gave a lot of players that opportunity. So
Mm,
he gave the shine to J.R. Smith.
yeah.
He gave the shine to Iman Shumpert,
Mm-hmm.
Raymond Felton. So
Mm-hmm.
the same way Jalen does it for the other players on our team now is what Melo did for them. So I'm praying Massachusetts and Springfield does right by him. Put him in the orange and blue. I know it's gonna be crazy out here when
Mm-hmm.
he comes out, especially with the high Puerto Rican population in this city. I won't
Yeah.
be surprised if it's crazy lit when he comes in. So it should be a good induction.
Listen, I'm trying to make sure that I'm down there with Latino sports, being that he is
Hmm.
one of the first Afro Boricuas to be inducted into the NBA Hall of Fame. Shout
Yes,
out to Carmelo Anthony. Again, I grew up with my middle name being Anthony, and Carmelo was one of my favorite players growing up watching. So I just want to say shout out to Melo. Congratulations. It is well deserved. And
definitely.
to you young basketball fans, NBA fans, that you're used to watching basketball from YouTube. Right, you're
Hmm.
used to watching your highlights from YouTube. So I'm gonna need you to go and do your research and do your homework, because I saw a lot of basketball fans with out of pocket takes saying that Melo didn't deserve to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Yeah,
What?
yeah, Nikki, yeah, Nikki. Was it? Yeah, I know
Wow.
our TikTok pages
No.
are somewhat the same, but
Yeah.
some some folks were popping up with some crazy takes on my FYU page.
Only thing I can think of, those got to be LeBronies. Those got to
Yeah.
be Bronny's people. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because you don't do that, really. Especially with some of the names that you're putting in. Now, who are you going to put after that?
Yeah.
That's my
Yeah.
question, because it seems like the NBA just gaps off. You
Mm-hmm.
already got Wade. If you're going to tell me you're going to put Bosch in there, why? For the fact that you want to ring with Bron? Who comes after this class? So we
You're
just
right.
got to wait and see.
You're right. You're right. No cap in the building. Appreciate you. Melo could have waited to come as a free agent, but he was money hungry and forced to trade because of the CBA. Because the CBA was about to change. If Melo wasn't so money hungry, we could have had a better roster. I'll put more of that blame on James Dolan, right? Because
Hmm.
James Dolan at the time was the one that was pushing hard for the Knicks to get a superstar. I understand Melo wanted to get traded out of Denver. I do understand that, but at the end of the day, James Dolan told that decrepit old man that was running the Knicks at the time forced this trade and make it happen. And because of James Dolan, that's why we gave up so much assets. When you look at it, Danilo Gallinari, Wilson Chandler, Raymond Felton, Timothy Mozgov, the first round picks that we gave up didn't turn into much. I think one of them turned into Gary Harris, who was good with Denver for a couple of years and then went to Orlando. But I put more of that blame more on James Dolan forcing the hand of the GM at the time than I do Carmelo Anthony. What about you, Nikki? Because it is a solid point and it's fair criticism on Melo.
Right, but at the same time, they were marketing New York will get a star. That's all we
Yeah,
knew. Who was the star? No, but that's what you marketed and that's what they promised to the fan base. So when you make that promise, it's like what you're gonna do. You have no choice but to live up to it, no matter how much money you spend. As long as you get the superstar, you're happy with it. So yeah,
yeah,
I blame the front office 1,000% because they didn't
yeah.
have to give all of that up.
Yeah, it was more. It was more, like I said, James Dolan pressuring Donnie Walsh at the time, who was put in charge of the New York Knicks because the New York Knicks was such a bad organization. The NBA
Right.
came in and said, "No, you're gonna hire this guy that was with the Indiana Pacers to make your team better." That's how bad the New York Knicks was. The New York Knicks were before Carmelo Anthony got traded to us, right? And that's something that I think gets left out of the conversation. How poorly run our organization was at the time before Amari came over and before we
Yep.
traded for Carmelo Anthony. Donnie Walsh came and he saved us from obscurity. We were the laughing stocks of the NBA. It was the Charlotte Bobcats and it was the
Hmm.
New York Knicks, the laughing stocks of the NBA. Donnie Walsh came in. He made some trades. Jamal Crawford went out. Zach Randolph. We got some draft picks. We got off of bad contracts, and we were able to get Amari and Carmelo Anthony. I think Donnie Walsh needs more praise, and I think that little bit of how bad the Knicks were always gets left out of the conversation about the Carmelo Anthony trade.
It definitely gets left off. And that's
Mhm.
the thing is like everybody again, like I said before, a lot of these young people who are Mellow fans, they weren't even considering Nick fans before that trade even happened. That's how
Yeah.
bad we were. We weren't getting any recognition at all. So at
Mhm.
that point, when you just go from the 90s Knicks and it was like a cliff drive that you
Yeah.
just drop off on how bad you were, then you slowly work your way back up. And for the matchups and the things that he did while he was here, you got to give the front office. Like for that deal, I wouldn't take it back. I wouldn't regret it.
No, for sure, for sure. Again, shout out to everybody who's watching us right now. We got over 50 people in the building watching us collectively. If you guys can, smack that like button, hit that subscribe button. Now, Nikki, I want to switch gears just to another topic that's been circulating over the past week. I put it in our group chat to see how excited you was. The Kevin Durant rumors with the New York Knicks. I know we survived an era of Nick for clicks during the
Yes.
Kyrie Irving, Zion Williamson, and KD era, but it seems like the Kevin Durant rumors to the New York Knicks are circulating right now. What's your thoughts on that? Folks in the chat, let us know as well. My guy Ace is in the building. Daniel Barry Sports Highlight. How you doing? Go ahead.
My thoughts are when it gives me the vibes of when your high school crush, now that you're older, he's a freaking bum. He lives in the basement with his mama. Now he wants to go talk to you. It's too late. We weren't cool for you back then. We're not cool for you now. Now you want to be with the cool kids. Now you want to come in when we finally got our stuff together. It's not going to be easy if we were even to trade for him because how much are you going to want? It's gonna
Mhm.
be a straight up robbery. No, I'm all set. You had your chance back then. You wanted to be greedy. You wanted to talk your trash. You wanted to drag us. Then go to our punk ass cousin over there to try to make things happen. You can't do that.
Yeah.
It's not. No, you can stay where you at.
I 100% agree with you. Right now, let's do the hypothetical. Right,
Yep.
hypothetically, Nikki, if we were to engage in this conversation when it comes to trading for Kevin Durant, who will we have to give up? Because you have to make the contracts match the way that the Knicks are in that second apron of the cap threshold. You have to
Hmm.
make the money match. It has to be a 1-for-1. The only person whose money comes close to Kevin Durant is OG Anunoby. And the way
Ooh.
that OG Anunoby has been balling, but Carl Anthony Towns as well. But I don't think the Knicks are going to trade Cat in order to get Kevin Durant. So when you look at OG Anunoby has been balling over the
Hmm.
over the past week, especially without playing with Jalen Brunson. He has been
Yeah.
balling out there. Sherwin in the chat said, if I can get rid of Cat for KD, I'm all in. Listen, Sherwin, shout out to you. I'm in love with the Bodega Cat. I'm not sure if I want to give him up. But Nikki, I want to ask you, with those trade scenarios, even the one that Sherwin threw out there, trading
Yeah.
Karl Anthony Towns for KD or trading OG Anunoby for KD, what's your thoughts on that?
Hell no on the OG. Hell no. The OG, what were they saying? I think they said it on a Nick space that he's giving glimpse of old school Kawhi Leonard, which
Yes.
he's giving those glimpses, and he's been attacking, and the way, even the dunk that he did, I think 2 nights ago, my money's on OG 1,000%. Cat, maybe. If you're willing, or now you know what? Let's throw a little Karla in here. Let me give you a package. Put
Okay.
Mitch. Who else can we do? Mitch. I don't even know. We gotta check contracts. You can't do Deuce. Deuce isn't enough. If we had a couple pieces that we can put together, yes. But Cat, maybe it's too soon to call. Still too soon. But OG, no way. No way.
For me, it can't be OG Anunoby, especially with the way that he has been playing. I'm gonna bring up the Knicks salary cap situation right now. So Karl Anthony Towns is the closest one to him at 53.1 mil. Right. Then you have OG Anunoby, who's at 39 million. Kevin Durant right now for next year, Kevin Durant would be at $51 million. So the only person that you could potentially match him up with is Karl Anthony Towns. I just do not see a scenario with you guys have to understand William West, the president of the New York Knicks, right? And Leon Rose, they're in love with Karl Anthony Towns. Karl Anthony Towns is their guy. Having conversations with the people that I know that work with the New York Knicks inside the organization, that work with William Wesley directly, Karl Anthony Towns is their guy. That's the guy who they had on their target list when James Dolan and I mean not James Dolan, when William West first came over. Right, when Leon Rose and William West first came over and took over, the guy who they had targeted, there was two players. It was Donovan Mitchell and it was Karl Anthony Towns. They got one of their guys and Karl Anthony Towns. I don't see a scenario that they trade Cat away in order to bring KD, who's a lot older. Just me personally.
Yeah, no, I don't see it either. It's not even worth it. Right now, he's starting to fizz out. If we want to do that same thing of bringing these old players before they retire through, we're not doing that anymore. Let him stay in Phoenix. Let him be somebody else's problem. No, I wouldn't even consider it at all, to be quite honest.
No Cap just put a good one in the chat right now who says a package around Mikal Bridges and Mitchell Robinson. Now that's something when you look at it on face value, their money equals up to Kevin Durant, just like that. I'm just not sure how the CBA works with the Knicks being in that second apron, because I know when you're in there, you got to match them just player for player. You can't add extra players in order for the money to match. But if you tell me right now, Mikal Bridges, Mitchell Robinson, for 2 years of Kevin Durant and this window to win a championship, I know we gave up 4 first-round picks and Dante DiVincenzo in order to get the Mikal Bridges, but that's a move that if I had to make, I would make.
Right, definitely, I would too. Those two, of course. And it's funny because I'm looking at the comments and there's a comment from Sherwin. Bridges are my untouchables. I'm shocked. That's the first time I ever heard someone say Mikal is untouchable. So the fact
Brunson,
that
OG, and Bridges are my untouchables. I would say more Brunson and OG, definitely not really Bridges, but hey, you never know.
Yeah, especially in playoffs, because if he shows up the way he's been showing up lately in the playoffs, he can become untouchable. He can definitely do that.
And the way that Mikal Bridges has been played, both Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby. This is why the last time when we had this show, I brought up the fact that when Julius Randle went down last year, you saw Precious Achiuwa step up. You saw OG Anunoby in some points step up, right? Josh Hart step up, right? Again, you never want to root for injuries, but without Jalen Brunson, we've seen Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby thrown in the fire. We've seen Delon Wright emerge as a valuable piece off of an NBA bench, right? We've seen that with the absence of Jalen Brunson. Going into the playoffs, again, you never want to root for injuries, especially for your star player. But if there was ever a time for an injury to happen to give your bench opportunities to win minutes, I think this was the perfect scenario. And I think we've gotten the perfect answer or the perfect response with Jalen Brunson not being in the lineup. You see Mikal Bridges being a lot more engaged, being a lot more focused on the court. You see OG Anunoby, same thing, being more engaged and more aggressive on the court. I brought up Dylan Wright. You see Deuce McBride, you already know what you're getting out of Deuce McBride. But I think those bench pieces and those players have been able to step up, and I think that's valuable in the absence of Jalen Brunson, Nikki.
Definitely. And you also saw Campaign hit a nice little streak as well. You had him, then you had, I think it was Shamit, who had a game where he did like what, 6 3-pointers. So if everybody starts getting warm going into the playoffs, is perfect. Then all three of your point guards will pretty soon be back. I think they said for tomorrow, Jalen and Deuce are probable. So
Yeah.
if that's the way we're going right now, let them get comfortable, ease them back into the rotation. So for when it's time to do the first round, it'll be perfect. Like you said, the timing of these injuries are, I'd rather have it now
Yeah.
going into it with having a full healthy roster, because this whole season we haven't had one. There was always someone who was hurt, someone who was waiting to come back to be that star or that extra oomph that we needed to get over the hump. If we can bring that into the playoffs, we can only see what happens. You got to be
Yeah.
positive.
Yeah, and when you look at the standings right now, right? I'm gonna share the standings real quick just so we can have this conversation. When you look at the standings, the New York Knicks, we are third in the Eastern Conference. Again, Knicks fans, again, we are third in the Eastern Conference on April 4th. The way that some Knicks fans have been reacting, especially with Jalen Brunson, you would have thought we was trying to fight for a play-in tournament, right? I understand it. We're not used to winning. We're not used to having a good team. And when you look at this team right now, we're third in the East. I don't think we're gonna catch Boston. As of right now, we're like 8 games behind Boston. I don't think we're gonna catch them. We got 8 games left to go, 2 games away from winning 50 games. And when you look at the matchup for the postseason, I know a lot of people are saying maybe Milwaukee, maybe Detroit, maybe Indiana, whatever it is. I just know that this team needs to be more prepared than what we were last year, right? I know we talked
Definitely.
about what would be a success for me. I know we talk about going to the championship. I don't know if this roster currently can, but as long as we do not get embarrassed in the first round. If we get embarrassed in the first round, we get eliminated by Detroit or by Indiana or by Milwaukee, I think Tom Thibodeau, his job is over with. I think he gets fired if we get eliminated in the first round. If the second round comes and we get swept, I'm not sure. It's more 50-50. It's more if we lose in the first round, Tom Thibodeau would be fired. What's your thoughts on that, Nikki?
I agree with that 1000%. You got to get them at least bare minimum to where they were last year. Bare minimum with this roster and with those 3 opponents, Indiana, Milwaukee, and Detroit. Milwaukee's not the beast that they used to be.
No.
We beat them plenty of times within the regular season, so I'm confident there. Detroit is very emotional. You can tell they want to get in your head. They want to sit there and do a little beef with you. The players that we have on this roster are very composed. How many times Trey Young and Draymond try to start with our guys, and our guys really ignored it and continued to play like professionals. So, especially with that team being, this would be a young squad of guys, the first time in the playoffs, especially in the Garden. That's a pressure that I really don't think Detroit might be able to handle. So that's another thing. Then Indiana, you want revenge. You were the team that took us out last year. We beat you in the regular season, I think twice. We should be able to do it in the playoffs. So regardless of the 3, I definitely see us going in the second round. The second round is where the issue is going to be. If
Yeah.
anything happens in the first round, unfortunately, Theo Tibbs got to go.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's something that most Knicks fans can live with, because I know the fan base is split. You got 50% of Knicks fans that they just want to fire Tom Thibodeau right now and bring in a new coach. They want to bring in Mark Jackson, right? And I understand that. I understand your grievances with Tom Thibodeau. As of right now, I think Tom Thibodeau, his job is safe. But like you said, and like I said, if something happens in that first round, I think every Knicks fan can live with the idea or live with the results of Tom Thibodeau getting fired, right? My one team that I want to match up with, and I want to get your thoughts on this. I want to match up with Indiana. I want to see Indiana back in the playoffs, especially after last year. I want the smoke from Indiana. I know we may not get them depending on how we match up or whatever, but that's a team. If I wanted my Knicks to face any team in the postseason, it didn't matter if it was the first, second, or third round, I want to face Indiana. I want revenge from last year.
Definitely revive that rivalry. There's not a lot of rivalries anymore. I don't even consider Miami a rivalry no more without Butler there. So if you can at least still have that, let that rivalry grow. It's been like that since the 90s. Definitely get your revenge. Are you kidding
Yeah.
me? Especially with Reggie and all. It's in the backstory of an Indiana matchup is too sweet to not want to have.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, definitely. That'll be beautiful.
I want to shout out Nostalgic Nick, who said, I saw Nikki on Dexter's show. Yes, Nikki and Karla.
Yay.
They killed it on with our good friend Dexter Henry. Dexter said he's going to reach out to us to let us know when his schedule is free to jump up with us on the KnicksEnFuego show. But shout out to our good friend Dexter Henry. Like I've said multiple times, Dexter is like a mentor to me. He's helped me out tremendously. He's always given a chance and opportunity to up and coming content creators. So I always got to shout out my guy, Dexter Henry. Nostalgia Nick, shout out to you, my guy. Appreciate you like always. Danny Landis is in the building. Danny, my brother, I appreciate you. I saw your message earlier. Salute, Heck. Great to see you, bro. What do you think of our chances of getting the Greek Freak this summer? Danny Landis, I appreciate you, my guy. And I'm going to throw that over to Nikki because we were talking about Kevin Durant. Now you got the Greek Freak who is rumored to be going to Chicago. That's a lot of the rumors. If you had to choose Kevin Durant or Giannis Antetokounmpo, which one you taking?
Giannis. Giannis, 1,000%. I am an old school 90s baby. I want a center. I want an old school center who can attack the hoop, don't shoot no threes, play the position the way a center should. If that includes putting McHale and what you call it and Cat and doing a nice little package, yes, I'm in for it. Don't get rid of Josh. Don't get rid of Jalen. Don't get rid of OG. Then you could talk about whoever the hell we gotta combine to make that done. But yeah, I'll definitely take him. Definitely.
Yeah, I don't think we have enough pieces to get the Giannis move done. And I would take Giannis over KD. One, I know KD in his career probably is the better player, especially when you look at how he could score, multiple level scorer. But with Giannis, KD is up there in age. He's 37. 37, 38. If you get KD, you have him 2, maybe 3 years at this level, right? If you get Giannis, at least you have him 5, maybe 6 years, right? So you will have Giannis way more than you will have Kevin Durant at this stage in his career. The Greek Freak, like you said, you put him at that 5 spot, even though he's not a knockdown 3-point shooter like Karl Anthony Towns. You still have to respect Giannis from the 3-point line because he has become a way better 3-point shooter over the past few years than when he first broke into the league. But if I had to choose, gun to my head, I'm definitely taking Giannis over Kevin Durant. No shade to Kevin Durant, one of the greatest scorers, one of the greatest shooters in the NBA. But as of right now, he's up there in age. And I just know if I trade for Giannis, I'm going to have him not only for the next 2-3 years, but for 6 years afterwards.
Definitely. 1,000%. And especially if he hasn't bounced around as much as KD did. I don't know if KD's just looking for a quick fix. Let me get relevant again, try to get a ring, and that's it. Giannis hasn't budged. You've been in Milwaukee the whole time. You accomplished what you wanted to do. Loyalty-wise and looking at it like that, I don't got to worry about you bouncing tomorrow if it doesn't work out. You're going to try to make it work. So, yeah, no, Giannis all day over KD.
Now, how about this, right? The way that Kevin Durant, I know he has a championship, right? And this player doesn't have a championship, but the way that Kevin Durant is tracking, he's getting into that Charles Barkley era of switching teams late in my career, trying to get another championship. I know Barkley never won a championship, and I'm not sure how people really feel about that Golden State championship. I know a lot of people put some stain on it. They want to see KD win a championship without having to go to Golden State. So I want to say Kevin Durant, he is borderline Charles Barkley at the end of his career, bouncing back and forth between Phoenix and Houston. And that's where you see Kevin Durant. And it's funny that I brought up Charles Barkley, who bounced back and forth from Phoenix to Houston. You got Kevin Durant on Phoenix right now, and there's rumors about him being traded to Houston. So he's following the same trajectory like Charles Barkley. But whatever happens, you know, I just want the Knicks to stay as far away
Amen.
from Kevin Durant as possible. Like you said, Nikki, this is the bum ass from high school who had a crush on you, who never gave you an opportunity, and now he got that lint and that Sebo in his belly button. Don't know how to fucking take a bath. That's who Kevin Durant is, just walking around wow Sebo.
Exactly. That's where I'm like, no, stay over there. Now you want to come here? No. Stay where you at. Stay where you at.
All right, now talking about these Knicks, you know, we got our ass whooped against the Cleveland Cavaliers. The first half of the game was amazing, right? Oh, and that was without Jalen Brunson. But the moment OG Anunoby got into foul trouble, the moment that Karl Anthony Towns got into foul trouble, this is what happens. You see the difference between a team like the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are a complete roster, and the New York Knicks, who are lacking a few pieces coming off of the bench. And until the Knicks get those 1 or 2 extra pieces who can give you valuable minutes when you have to rest OG Anunoby, when you have to rest Karl Anthony Towns, I don't think the Knicks are able to get past Cleveland or the Boston Celtics without those extra pieces that I mentioned.
Definitely. And not only that, I felt way more confident going into the last game because it looked as if it was the refs who took our momentum away.
Yeah.
When the refs takes the momentum, and that's without, was it, what did Mitch play that game too? I don't think.
Again, Cleveland? No, I don't think Mitch. I think
No,
Mitch
I don't
rested in
think
that game.
Mitch played. So you didn't have Jalen. You don't have Deuce. I think Mitch the rest. I'm okay. If we got that close that the refs had to come in and put the 2 guys who were cooking in foul trouble to give Cleveland a chance and to go show out, I'm a little okay with it. You already
Yeah.
know how it is. I just think it was a little iffy. If Mikhail would have came out and did his thing, it would have been different. I just think when it comes to Mikhail, his timing be off. When it's up to him to actually go out and show out, he don't do it. The same thing with Cat. He could have been way more dominant than what he was. But I don't know. You know how everybody plays. But I feel a lot better after watching that game against the last 2 games that we played with Cleveland.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you, Nikki. And when you look at it, right, I just want to shout out to Marjan Beauchamp again. I'm ordering me my Marjan Beauchamp jersey. That young man and I, we share the same last name. Even though he was in for garbage minutes, he played 2 minutes. He got 4 points. So shout out to the young man Marjan Beauchamp. But no, to your point, I'm looking at the box score right now. Let me actually share this on screen so we could go over it. When you look at the box score, Mikal Bridges, 36 minutes, 8 points. You know, you want to see minus 18 from the field. You need Mikal Bridges to do better, right? That minus 18 right there, that's the difference in the game. Look at the score, 124 to 105. That's a 19-point difference. That minus 18, that right there is the difference in the game, right? OG Anunoby, he had 23 points, but he was a minus 14. You had Karl Anthony Towns, 34 minutes. He had 25 points. Josh Hart, shout out to Josh Hart, because he's always going to give you effort and he's going to always give you heart. 37 minutes, 19 points. DeLon Wright, like I said, 33 minutes and 7 points. And when you look at the bench, you had Precious Achiuwa, you had Landry Shamet, you had Tyler Kolek, Anton Watson, and Marjan Beauchamp. That's the bench that the Knicks had. You're not going to beat the Cleveland Cavaliers with that bench. You're not going to beat the Boston Celtics with that bench. If that's the bench, if those are the bench pieces, you're going to lose against the top teams in the East. Just don't play the game. You're going to lose.
Yeah, and definitely everybody hasn't mentioned the good thing. Ree brought it up. There is no Mitch, so of course, no matter you get Cat in trouble with no Mitch coming off to cover him, it's pretty much a tight game or a lost game. So hopefully next time, when I don't think we played Cleveland with a full roster yet.
Nope, we haven't.
And that game, they were at their best. I don't think they had anybody out. So if we came that close that the refs had it, no, I feel confident. Let me get my guys fully healthy, and we'll be able to do it.
We've played Cleveland this year without OG Anunoby twice, right?
Yep.
We played them without Mitchell Robinson. We played them without Jalen Brunson. And the same thing could be said for the Boston Celtics. We ain't have Mitchell Robinson. We ain't have a full healthy roster, right? And the last time we were on the show, I brought it up. It's kind of unfair, and you're putting you're being backed into the corner. If you're asking me, you're kind of backing me in the corner. If you would have asked me, Nikki, can you fully evaluate the 2024 to 2025 New York Knicks? And you can't, because we haven't had a 2-week period that everyone has been healthy and everyone has been jiving. And I get it. Other teams deal with injuries. Other teams have the same problem that the New York Knicks have. But what I'm saying is that it's kind of unfair for me to judge this team without actually being able to fully evaluate this team with everybody healthy for a 2 to 3 week period to see what we actually have with these pieces.
You're 100% right. That's why I'm saying, to judge them, we have no choice but to do them in the playoffs. That's what the regular season doesn't necessarily matter. It's just to get you where you need to go for the playoffs. So what we're gonna do to summarize the 2024-25 Knicks has to be solely based on what we see starting April 19th.
Yeah.
So as of right now, this is just a preparation. Once we have, everybody's gonna be healthy by the 19th, hopefully. Everybody will be healthy. As long as that is going on, by the end of this season, we should be able to say exactly what we have, see what we need, and see what moves we need to make going into the next season.
Yeah, and we have tomorrow the New York Knicks play the Atlanta Hawks. We have 6 games left. We're in Atlanta to play Atlanta. We played Kevin Durant of the Phoenix Suns, the Boston Celtics, the Detroit Pistons, the Cleveland Cavaliers again, and then we have the Brooklyn Nets. If I'm the New York Knicks, looking at where we're at right now, I think we're a few games, like 3 or 4 games ahead of the second team that's behind us, well, the 4th place team. I'm resting Jalen Brunson in almost every one of these games. I do not want the Boston Celtics to see Jalen Brunson. I do not want the Detroit Pistons to see Jalen Brunson. And I do not want the Cleveland Cavaliers to see Jalen Brunson. And why? Because we may match up with one of those teams, or maybe we could possibly match up with all 3 of those teams in the postseason. And I don't want them to have fresh eyes on Jalen Brunson. It's a damn if you do, damn if you don't scenario, because we want Jalen Brunson out there to get his rhythm, to get his feel. But at the same time, those 3 teams, we could face them in the postseason, and I don't want them to get a fresh eyes or a fresh scouting report on Jalen. That's just me personally.
I agree, especially if we could get him to play tomorrow. Why so many back-to-backs at the end of the season? I don't understand this.
Same. I was going to say the same thing. Go ahead, Nikki.
Insane. So as long as he plays Saturday, give him a little run on Sunday, hold him, then a little burn on the 13th, because I think, what is it? The play-in starts that week, right? So the regular season, so he has a whole week to just be in training and rehab, practice. Then from there, I agree. I definitely agree.
Because there's no reason to rush him back, right? It's not like we're trying to fight for a spot in the play-in, right? That's not what we're fighting right now, right? We're in 3rd place. We have a solid hold on 3rd place. Even if we were to lose the next 6 games, I think that's how the Knicks fall to 4th place if they lose the next 6 games in a row. And I don't see a scenario where that happens. I think we have a 3 or 4 game lead on that 4th place team, so that's the only way that happens. I just do not want the Knicks to play Jalen Brunson and have him exposed out there against those 3 teams that we could possibly match up in the postseason. Again, maybe Jalen Brunson may want to play just to get the rust off. Sorry, Nikki, go ahead.
Right. And honestly, looking at the lineups, I'll be surprised if those teams are playing full rosters. You had Tatum, who had the slight injury, so he probably won't even play the whole full roster at that game. Cleveland, that's literally, you already the number 1 seed. You're going to play your whole roster the second to last game of the year? I don't think so. I think these are the type of games that if you were season ticket holders, you give the tickets away or you sell them, because there's no real reason to even go, because you don't know who you're going to be watching play anyway.
Yeah, no, 100%. You're right. Now, something that I want to bring up, because we're facing Trae Young and the Atlanta Hawks tomorrow. Knick fans, please, I'm begging you. Nikki, I don't know how you feel about this. I'm not sure how Karla feels about this. But Knick fans, can we stop with the Trae Young chance. Can we stop with it? It was cool when it first happened, right? It was cool in that postseason with Julius Randle. We was chanting F Trae Young. The next year it got annoying. The year after
Mhm.
that, it got annoying. Now it's beyond the point that it's just super annoying that now Yankee fans are doing the same thing with Juan Soto. And I already cursed out
Oh
like 3 or 4
no.
Yankee fans on my timeline. Yankee fans, you look pathetic and you're showing how unoriginal two blanquitos from Long Island are. You're just showing how unoriginal you guys are. So please, Nick fans, can we please retire the F Trae Young chance? And all you Nick Yankee fans who are unoriginal, stop with the F Juan Soto chance. Nikki,
N- Not
I'm
only
glad
that,
you and I are on the same
no,
page.
1,000%. Because I think the ones that do it are the bandwagoners or the guys who just show up for the game who are not original fans. Because he is not a villain. I don't care what the media say. I don't care what narrative they try to put. He is not the Nick killer they try to make it seem. You
No.
got one series and that's all you got. That's
Mm-hmm.
all you. So let's not make this guy be the Joker to the Batman. It's not. Just
Yeah.
give it up. Don't do it. The best thing you could do to that type of person, ignore it. He's gonna want that. Don't do it. Don't do it. I wouldn't even bother. Just stay quiet.
Nah. Stay.
Mum's the
Trey
word.
Trae Young is a manufactured villain. He's a villain
Hmm.
because Knick fans manufactured him in order to be a villain. I never wanted to be the one to be like, you know what? I'm gonna start rooting for Trae Young because you guys just make Knick fans look bad. That's the point I'm getting to. You guys have me feeling bad for Trae Young because anytime this man shows his face in New York City, you guys drop the F Trae Young chance. Now, him rolling the dice, center court, I'm not a fan of it. F Trae Young for that.
Right.
But when you guys keep on beating a dead horse, when you guys keep, it's like the kid in high school, Nikki, back to high school analogies. It's like the kid in
Hmm.
high school who finally said a funny joke and he's going to repeat this funny joke all
Yes.
school year. That's where we're at with the F Trae Young chant. It was cool in September when you said it to start the school year. We're about to be at the end of the school in June, and you keep on with the same joke. It's corny. Retire it, por favor.
It is. And not only that, in Spanish, we have a word for that type of guy. He's a pendejo.
Yeah,
He's a pendejo. So let him do his little pendejadas over there.
word.
Ignore him. You're not going to the. Are they even in the playoffs or is he playing?
I know. I don't. Let me look at it right now. Let me
Like
let me look at it right
you're a
now.
non-relevant factor, bro. Like sit your ass down, get ready for vacation.
They're the eighth seed right now, so they'll be playing in the playing tournament against the Miami
Yeah.
Heat and the Chicago Bulls. So they're a playing team, right? They had 36
Yeah.
wins. They're happy to be at 36 wins. Listen, what are New York Knicks? We have 48 wins. Stop entertaining the trolls. Stop with the
Please.
nonsense when it comes to Trae Young. We got our postseason ahead of us. Let's focus on our postseason. I know we match up against them tomorrow. I know we got the 3 top teams in the East that we face towards the end of the year as well. But to your point, Nikki, all these back-to-back games like that's crazy that whoever
It's
came up with this
insane.
schedule for the NBA put that on the schedule for the Knicks. It's crazy.
I want an investigation done on what the NBA has against the Knicks. Because I swear every year these schedules and all the stuff that they do is on some bogus crap. We need the ESPN to do what they call it, the 30 for 30. What
Oh,
is it? What, even going back, if we wanted to throw back to the 90s, especially after the Detroit, Minnesota fight that just
mhm.
happened not that long ago.
Yeah,
When
yeah,
we
yeah.
had our fight, how you take our guys, okay, we're going to take the group of guys in one fight and we're going to suspend y'all within 2 games. And you do it one time and you never do it again.
Yeah. No,
I do not get it. I don't. I don't. We need
I want
a
to ask. I want to
expose.
ask you, right?
Hmm.
Because ESPN, especially Stephen A. Smith, has been under fire over the past
Yes.
month with the whole like LeBron situation, and we really fully haven't. We normally talk Knicks here, and we normally like to keep it to Knicks. But I want to ask
Yes.
you, when it comes to this whole LeBron situation, Stephen A. Smith, what's your thoughts on it, folks in the chat? Let us know as well, and then I'll give you my soliloquy afterwards. Go ahead, Nikki.
It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing, especially for a man that all these years looked like he kissed the royal ass of LeBron forever. And
Mm-hmm.
now you're gonna sit here. Then every time he explains it, he switches the narrative. I'm not talking about him as a player. I'm talking about him as a father. That as a father, I want to do. make up your mind how you're talking, because right now you took a show that's supposed to be about sports and
Mm-hmm.
the actual game, and you're turning it into TMZ. First Take is TMZ
Mm-hmm.
on the court. That's what it is. They don't give you the regular sports coverage. If it's not Lakers, Dallas, or the regular top popular teams, they don't discuss it. There's so
Yeah.
much going on in the NBA right now that they don't need to sit here and be pressing this whole narrative going back and forth. Then you take Stephen A. Smith, because he's taking this and amplifying it into 5 minutes of BS fame, bouncing it from podcast to podcast. Come on, bro. I don't get it. The only thing I feel bad is when LeBron started talking about Wendy, saying that he's weird or he's a weirdo for saying whatever it was about LeBron. And didn't he? They used to call him the LeBron whisperer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that like that was a shot that was unnecessary. You didn't need to do that, but no, I think it's ridiculous. They need to let it go. It's sad.
I think what happened with Stephen A. Smith, and shout out to Jacob Petruzzi. JB, according to the reports, could be back tomorrow or Sunday. They're leaning more into Sunday than anything else, so he could be playing on Sunday. When it comes to Stephen A. Smith, for me, is I want to say he fell off because he's always been in the top when it comes to like sports talk and sports commentators. But for me, where I fell out with Stephen A. Smith was when him and Max Kellerman fell out,
Hmm.
right? And it was during a time where Max Kellerman was on the right side of history with the whole Colin Kaepernick situation, and it was T.O. that mentioned to Stephen A. Smith that, listen, Max is out here sounding more black than you know, when it
Hmm.
comes to these topics. And I think that struck a core with Stephen A. Smith. Granted, credit to Max Kellerman, who refuted it right after T.O. said it. But I think that was the moment that Stephen A. Smith went on his whole soapbox, because he went on
Yeah.
he went on Hot 97, he went on the break, he went on every publication basically to dog walk Max Kellerman. When you look at Max Kellerman, he comes from the boxing world. We look at Max Kellerman's father was a Marxist professor as well, super intelligent leftist, super intelligent mind in the political realm. And that's where Max Kellerman got his viewpoint on life. And I think that class with Stephen A. Smith and his conservative views. And I think when you're looking at it right now, and I think it was Jay Wright who brought it up, that when you look at the Stephen A. Smith and LeBron James situation, it has to do with Stephen A. Smith looking at Michael Jordan as the GOAT, and Michael Jordan texting him back and forth, and LeBron James not giving him a time of day. And that's
Right.
is LeBron James was on I forgot, Pat McAfee, and he talked
Hmm.
about Windhorse, the Brian Windhorse,
Yes.
ESPN,
Yes.
and LeBron brought up, he's like, this dude fucking Wendy talks about me like we best friends, bro. I don't know you. I
Right.
don't know you. And that's where, you know, you have a paradoxical relationship, right? It's just like with content creators. We have
Hmm.
content creators that we watch, that we parasocial relationship, right, between
Hmm.
reporters and athletes. And it's the same thing with content creators and the people that watch us, right? I get people that probably watch us that think that they're a lot closer to us than what they actually are. And it's the same
Right.
thing with journalism, and I'm guilty of it, right? Oswaldo Cabrera from the Yankees, every time he sees me, he shows me wild love. So I have it in my head like, that's my guy. That man
Yeah.
probably don't know who the fuck I am at the end of the day, right? If he was to tell me, yo, who's Hector in the lineup, we don't fucking know who Hector is, but he still shows love to me when he see me. And it's just a parasocial relationship that I think
Right.
the line that gets crossed, that fans are guilty of it, and the people that cover the sports are guilty of it as well.
Not only that, if you think about it, what he's doing to LeBron now, it's very similar to what he did to Kyrie during COVID. When Kyrie had his whole thing when he wasn't playing, the reasons why he wasn't taking, he picks these players and he
Mm-hmm.
just throws his jabs. So
Mm-hmm.
one day it's Kyrie, now it's LeBron. So next season, who you gonna have a problem with? Because you just consistently are bouncing from problem to problem, and you're looking like you're the problem. The players aren't the problem, you are. So eventually, and it's funny because I know there was what show was it? Oh no, the roommate show. They were talking about
Mhm,
what happened and how he approached them in the middle of the game. For
mhm,
some reason, I thought it was after. How you gonna do that in the middle of the game? They're playing your Knicks. You want to be the avid Nick fan. I'm the known
mhm.
Nick fan, die hard, and then he goes out and tries to kick her ass.
Yep.
Like, yo, you're part of the problem, dog.
Yeah,
You're part.
and not just that. It's before the pandemic situation with the C-19,
Hmm.
when the rumors of him coming to the Knicks, Nikki, you remember all of those shows that he did. Like, yeah, like I made a phone call to people I know in Mitchellhausen that grew up with Kyrie Irving's father in the
Exactly.
projects, and people tell me that he wants to play for the Knicks. He wants to play for New York. You were wrong. You were
Yep.
wrong about it, and that's the thing. People sometimes, and I'm not saying this is Stephen A. Smith, I'm just saying in general, sometimes people do not want to admit they were wrong. People do not want to hold themselves accountable. People don't know
Yep.
what accountability looks like half of the time, right? They think they could just say sorry and just move about it. No, that's not what accountability is. There's more to accountability than that. And when it comes to Stephen A. Smith and all these stories dating back to the Kyrie Irving, the Zion Williamson, the LeBron James, it's just there's no accountability in sports media when it comes to the people that are covering the athletes.
Definitely. None at all. And that's what has to happen. So if you have all these responsibilities to announce these things, you
Mhm.
need to do it in a particular type of order. It needs to be professional, it needs to be non-biased. Put it out. Don't make everything all about you, because that's
Yeah.
what he's doing right now. He's making
Mhm.
himself the star of the show. It's not supposed to be you. You're
No.
supposed to be reporting on the team and on the athlete, not on your personal opinions and your personal bias. No. Go
Yeah.
back to doing your job as a reporter, because right now you're acting like a reality TV star.
And you know what? If that's the lane that he wants to create for himself, God bless you, Stephen A. Smith. You see him dipping his foot in politics, going on
Hmm.
his best friend Sean Hannity from Fox News and stuff like that. He's always been, running in those circles with Republicans and stuff. So when you look at Stephen A. Smith, it's getting to a point that secondhand embarrassment, right? Stephen A.
Yes.
Smith, you signed a $100 million contract as a sports analyst, as somebody who covers the sports. Do us all a favor and cover the sports. Talk about the sports. Talk about Jokic having an amazing triple double, scoring over
Yeah.
60 points. Talk about Steph Curry at his age still being able to put up 30, 40 points. Talk about LeBron James and how great LeBron James is. Nikki, when it comes to this GOAT conversation, I'm not sure how you feel about it. Me
Hmm.
personally, right? I think LeBron James is the GOAT, and I got one argument about that. Nikki,
Hmm.
how many times did Michael Jordan make it to the NBA finals without Scottie Pippen?
Oh, none. He
How
always
many
has
times did
Scotty, no,
LeBron
right?
James make it to the finals without D Wade?
Psha! How many times?
There you go.
Plenty. Yeah,
That
plenty.
that that that's my
Yeah,
argument right there. There you go.
plenty.
That lays the argument down. Right.
Yeah,
Michael Jordan never been to an NBA finals without Scottie Pippen. Right.
that's true.
LeBron James has been to multiple NBA finals and won them without D Wade. When you look at that Miami Heat team, let's compare them. Is D
Hmm.
Wade a better player than Scottie Pippen?
No,
Hell no.
no,
Is
no way in
is
hell.
is Chris Bosh a better player than Dennis Rodman?
No,
So
no.
off of that argument right there, Jordan had the better teammates
He
and Scottie
definitely did.
Pippen and Dennis Rodman.
He did. But the way I see it, and this is just the way I see it,
Mhm.
Jordan had, okay, I'm gonna put it in like superhero comic book context. Michael Jordan had better villains than LeBron did. If you look at
Okay,
who Jordan had to play, you had to play Ewing, Olajuwon,
true.
Isaiah. Um, we can keep going. Plenty of people he had to face. LeBron ain't really have to face that many people. Who he had besides Melo, and who else?
He had the Pistons
Yeah,
that in the middle of the 2000s was
yeah,
everybody's
he had
the same
them.
the
Yeah,
Pistons that took down Kobe Bryant and Shaq, the
yeah,
Pistons that made the Lakers trade Shaq away to the Miami Heat. That's who LeBron took down, and he took them down with Booby fucking Gibson as
yes.
his second best as his second best
That's
player.
true. That's true.
Anderson Varejao, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
Zilgiris Zilgauskas, however you pronounce his name. Those are the those are the players that he had on his team. Eric Snow, an old
Yeah.
ass Eric,
Yes.
Larry Hughes,
Yes,
Larry Hughes. Those are the teammates that LeBron. But
that's true.
I see what you're saying with the
Because the
Jordan
villains
point.
were different. That's why I'm like, if you were to look at it, the league was much more lopsided with LeBron in it
Yeah,
than it was with Jordan. Jordan, he had to every night it was somebody else that
but
he had to play.
when you look at who Jordan faced, yeah, it was the bad boy Pistons and Isaiah Thomas,
Yeah.
right? Jordan never beat the Lakers with both Kareem and Magic.
No.
Never beat them in the finals. Jordan never beat Larry Bird and the Boston Celtics in the playoffs.
Mm-mm.
The only team that he took down was the Detroit Pistons, and
Yeah.
that's because he had Scottie Pippen on his
Yeah.
team.
That's true. I never looked at it that way. But yeah,
And
that's true.
when you look at defensive ratings, right, in his career, yes, Jordan won multiple Defensive Players of the Year award. Absolutely, I'm not
Right.
taking away from that, right? But when you look at defensive ratings, LeBron James had 13 seasons of a better defensive rating than Michael Jordan had, and there was better
Right.
defenders according to the stats when LeBron played than when Jordan played. When Jordan played, it was Jordan, Gary Payton, best defenders. That was it.
Yeah.
And then everybody
Mhm.
else was like a total drop off and stuff.
Yeah.
When you look at defensive ratings and advanced stats, this is why sometimes I'm 50-50 with the advanced stats. It
Yeah.
shows that LeBron had 13 seasons of having a better defensive rating than Jordan had.
It makes sense. It definitely makes sense. You have an argument there, but yeah, Jordan's. I don't. I'm not. I will never call neither one of them my goat. I'm not gonna lie. I can't.
Mm.
But when you look at it, and it pains me to say it this way, I had many more heartbreaks as a child in the hands of Jordan than I did in the hands of LeBron. You know what I mean? Like we had, if it wasn't for Jordan being there, we would have won something.
True.
Something. We would have
True.
won something. But with LeBron, we had our chances. We had plenty of times to knock him out. But Jordan, as the way, and I hated him to this day. I don't own a pair of Jordans. I can't do it. I can't. I'm not giving you my money. Like,
I
no.
know what I'm getting you for Christmas.
I can't. I'm like, I can't. My man tried to buy me Jordans all the time, and he goes, "No." I'm like, "Get me any other shoe. I don't care. Don't do Jordans. I
I
can't
love it.
do it." But
I
no,
love
but
it.
that's how I related to. I'm like, no. How many nights you go to sleep sad because this guy kicked your ass again? You're like, are you kidding me?
You know what
He was a
moment?
machine.
You know what moment that was for me with LeBron when he didn't come to the Knicks. That moment
Really?
that was the moment that was the knife in the side to me with LeBron. I get it. Losing to Michael
Yeah.
Jordan every year in the postseason is worse. I get it. I understand that.
Yeah.
But the hype, that leading into that free agency, everybody kept LeBron teasing like, I love playing the Garden. The Garden is my favorite place to
Right.
play, and everybody thought he was coming to the. And I remember I used to work at Lombardi's Pizza. I was 19 years old. After work, me and my homie Abe, we ran down the block to the bar that the Vic Bar on Spring Street. We go in there, we're watching everything that's going on, and then he's like, I'm taking my talents to South Beach. And it took me a second to be like, what the fuck does that mean? What does he mean he's taking? What does he mean he's taking this? Oh, he's going to my. Oh, I was like, where the fuck is
Right.
South Beach? I don't know where South Beach is at. But no, that was to me a gut punch. LeBron not
Oh,
coming to the Knicks. Nikki, we're about to get ready to wrap things up. Again, sis, appreciate you like always doing these shows. Shout out to Carla who couldn't be
yes.
here because she was hanging out with the Met fans. Shout out to Carla and all you Met fans out there. I know you guys are gonna have an exciting season. Nikki, any last takeaways for the chat for the viewers before we get out of here?
Not really. Get prepared. These next few games, win or lose, to me, they don't matter. They don't matter. This is gonna be the time where I need Thibodeau to be smart. Don't put anybody's body at risk. I know when OG falls on the floor, my heart stops.
Same.
This is when we need to start pacing out our players. They don't need to play all out 40 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Pace them out, get them ready, and get them well rested because game one, we need to do what we need to do, whether it's April 19th or April 20th, whoever we face in the Garden. I'm
Yeah.
just lucky we got home court again. Ain't
Yeah.
nothing better than being in the Garden in the playoffs. If you can't do it, if you are a Knicks fan, and I've been a diehard, and this was last year was my first playoff game in the Garden, ain't nothing like it. The
Yeah.
Garden alone is different. 82 regular season games, but playoffs, the money's worth it.
Yeah.
Definitely got to do it.
I'm right there with you. When it comes to the playoffs, I'm not sure if you're gonna come up to the city and stuff like that, but we have to figure something out when
Yes.
it comes to a watch party or something like that. Just to let everybody know, Fort Tryon Public House in Washington Heights is the best place to watch Knicks games if you guys are uptown. I just started working social media for them, and that's where all our Knicks watch parties, everything we're doing Knicks is gonna happen at Tryon Public House. So if you guys are uptown in the Washington Heights, Dyckman area of New York City, please make sure you guys tap into Tryon Public House. Follow them on all social media platforms. I'm your guy Hector, hanging out with the lovely Nikki. Love you, sis. Again,
Love you.
shout out to you and Karla. You guys were amazing. Shout out to our good friend Dexter Henry,
Yes.
Danny Landis. I appreciate you. Jacob Petruzzi, my guy. Sherwin, shout out to you, Sherwin, as well. Our good friend Jonathan. Appreciate you, Jonathan. Salute. 3 capital S's. Robert Little is in the building. Even though he's a Knicks troll, we still show love to Robert Little. Guys, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you guys drink some water, stay hydrated, and until next time, Knicks fans, I'm Hector.
I'm Nikki.
This is KnicksEnFuego. Nikki just had to point it up. She ain't had to point at
You got
anybody
it
else.
right.
We will see you guys next time. Knicks,
Bye.
let's go, baby.
Dá presente, oggi sasso.
Putaria, se eu não quero.